Hey guys, so welcome back to NTI week 3. You should have watched the introduction video where I kind of talked about everything that's expected of you this week. This video, I'm going to talk about how we do the first assignment, which is the pick an object research assignment. Okay, let's get into it. So, like I said, this is an assignment that I have done the previous couple years with students in this unit where we talk about material science. And it's going to first involve you pick an object that you use regularly, that you maybe even have in your house right now, something that you are in contact with, but maybe haven't really ever paid attention to what that object is made of. So I'm going to ask you to think about that object and choose that object carefully. I recommend really highly to not use an electronic device of any kind. Don't use your phone. Don't do your PlayStation. Keep it a little bit more simple than that. So step 1 is you need to think of an object. Great. So the object that I'm going to do for the sake of explaining to you how the rest of this assignment is going to go is a hairbrush. I use it every day, maybe less during quarantine, but you get the idea. Okay. So first thing that you need to do is that you need to go to your Frere model, which is attached to this assignment on Google Classroom, and you need to write down, or in my case, I just put a cute picture. Write down what your object that you chose in the middle circle. If you're choosing to draw this out, you need to get out a piece of paper where you can create this Frere model on there. But again, in the middle, you need to write down your object. So the next thing that you need to do is open up another browser and start doing some research. I'm going to be really honest with you. A lot of times I get on you guys for just going to Wikipedia and looking up a question. But I looked up a history of the hairbrush or a characteristics of a hairbrush and went to the Wikipedia page for a hairbrush. And I was able to get a majority of the information for this assignment and the next assignment. But at the same time, a lot of this you can do without even having to do any research. So the first thing you need to do is you just need to come up with some physical descriptive characteristics of your object. Okay, so for example, my hairbrush. I said that a hairbrush has a hard and sturdy handle, or the outside. It has flexible and soft bristles, a soft or grippy handle. I said that it can be in many colors, and I could include also in that area that like the shapes are going to maybe be a little bit different. There are different types of brushes. I could include that. But the first thing you need to do is you need to fill out this square describing some physical characteristics. When you pick up your object in your hand, what are some things that you can write down? Shiny, hard, soft, what color it is it heavy? Is it light? Does it break? So first thing, write down those characteristics. So the next thing is I want you to think, and again, this is before we even really need to do any research anywhere. This is just based off of what you know about this commonly used object that you have in front of you, maybe. But is think about how is this object used? And then what are some other objects that might be made of some similar things? So I stopped and I thought about a hairbrush. And I said that, well, a hairbrush is used to untangle or detangle hair. And then I started thinking about what are some other things that are made of maybe some similar materials. And I thought, okay, well, a comb is made of similar materials. A broom or a mop, maybe. Paintbrushes, all things that are kind of made of similar materials. And if I think about it, they're kind of doing a similar thing. So next you need to fill out that bottom square on the left and write down how is your object used? And then what are other objects that are made of similar materials that you can think of? Again, if you're doing this on the digital Frere model that is on the assignment, fill it in there. Or if you are doing it on a handwritten paper, do it there. So next, this you might have to do a little bit of research. And again, I literally went to Google. I typed in properties or materials in a hairbrush, I went to the Wikipedia page, and a lot of the information that I needed was right there. You can also go to other websites if there's some like history of a hairbrush, something like that. You can go there, but don't overwhelm yourself in looking up some things. So, what materials are in this object? So, I mean, I can flat out say, just from looking at this hairbrush that I have in front of me, is that there's definitely got to be a hard plastic. There's probably some sort of like synthetic, almost rubber in the handle. And then I don't really know about the bristles, but when I did some research, what I found out is that the handle is a lot of times either made out of a hard wood or what are called thermoplastics. So those were the two basic things that I saw. And then specifically, I read that ebony, rosewood, or beech, which are types of hardwoods, those are commonly used, or ABS plastic or polyacetal, which I don't know anything about those, but those appear to be probably types of thermoplastics that are used specifically. Okay. The bristles have been made of boar bristles, horsehair, goat hair, nylon, or stainless steel. So I was just talking about what materials are in your object. The other question of this is what materials, if any, were used to be in your object. So I included current and former materials in a hairbrush in the same descriptions there. As you can see, obviously, I don't think that boar bristles or horsehair or goat hair are used very often anymore in our hairbrushes. But my assumption is that back before we had the ability to make some of these synthetic materials, those were coarse things, coarser than our actual hair, that were able to detangle hair, and that's why they were used as bristles. So do a little research. What are the common materials used in your in your object? And then what are some what is the history of your object and what things used to be in it? Look that up now and add that to your digital Frayer model or to your Frayer model on your paper. So the last thing that we're filling out on this square, or this last square that we're filling out for this Frayer model, for this assignment, is to is to look up those specific materials and think about, or to list those specific materials and think about what is the role that each material might have in the function of the object. So the handle, the hardwoods and the thermoplastics, if you think about like the handle, it needs to be hard, it needs to be sturdy, it needs to not break very easily, it needs to be able to be like handled by and used regularly without like being damaged or without injuring you. The bristles, they need to be coarse. They need to be able to get through hair. They need to be able to like take some wear and tear and be pretty sturdy, but also flexible enough to give, because we don't want to just like stick something really hard and aggressive into our hair, right? So here was what I wrote down, is that those hardwoods, like ebony, rosewood, etc., they're sturdy. They create a sturdy, hard handle that is easy to hold on to. The thermoplastics like ABS plastic and polyacetal, they are sturdy, hard, rigid, tough, and they create this handle that's easy to hold on to. The coarse animal hair options, so the boar bristles, horsehair, etc., they are soft, but they're sturdy and strong enough and coarse enough that they're able to get through our tangled hair. Or nylon is soft yet flexible and strong enough to go through a hair. So a nylon being a synthetic version of this animal hair that was used previously. So list out these materials that you had in the box above and think about what those materials, like what is their purpose and their like point and function of being in the object. All right. I may not have mentioned this before, but you should not be doing a hairbrush as your object for this project. This is just an example. This is not for you to directly copy. You are choosing your own object. You are looking up your own, or you're coming up with your own physical characteristics, and you're doing your research on the materials in it. Great. So you should have filled out all 4 boxes now. Remember that this video is used to guide you. So if you need to go back and watch any part of this to kind of help you, please go back and watch it. Don't feel that you have to rush through this. So you should have one FAIR model filled out. Finish watching this video, make sure all the questions are answered, make sure you filled it out on the Google sheet digitally that I have attached to the assignment on Google Classroom, or if you drew it out on your own paper, snap a picture and make sure it's attached. Turn that in, and I will see you guys back here for the second part of this pick an object research project. Take care, stay safe. See y'all soon.